Hey everyone, I thought I'd create this video to talk about the food drive planning. What I didn't want to do is I didn't want to schedule a Zoom call that everybody had to coordinate into their schedule, um, but I still wanted to be able to reach everyone and get them the information. So what I did is I put together a slideshow presentation, like a PowerPoint that will like walk through, and then everyone can respond and participate in the Facebook group. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And I'll try to put myself over here so it's kind of out of the way. But we are going to talk about food drive planning. And everything in here I'm going to talk about is going to be something you can use for any type of drive that you might do. And I'll mention some ideas as we go. But for the purpose of this is we are starting the food drive planning now in mid-August to take place in the first week of October. So just a quick overview. We're going to have an intro, talk about social distancing, the who, what, when, where, why, and how, and then also a challenge at the end. So first and foremost, my name is Monique. I'm a real estate agent with eXp Realty in Virginia, in the Norfolk, Virginia area. And I'm also a certified referral trainer with Michael Mayer 7 Levels of Communication. I am also a member of the Air Force Reserve and will be headed to training in September until the beginning of September till the end of December. So I will even talk about like how you can still pull off an event when you aren't physically in your market, which will also lend itself to social distancing practices. So what you can expect is that we're going to go through brainstorm and talk about the initial planning phases for a food drive. And like I said, it can be applied to any drive. And then my expectation is that after you watch this video, you will pay it forward by putting your feedback in the comments, like ideas that you have, things you're going to do, the actual information, and I believe in coming from a place of abundance. So like, yeah, someone in the group might be in your market. I'm going to tell you right now, there's plenty of people in the group in my market because they're friends of mine, or they've been to one of my local book clubs, or somehow I'm connected to them one way or the other. So don't be scared. And don't just sit back and be a sponge and soak it all up and not give back to the group. You know, in the book, it says reach one, teach one. So that's what we're going to do here. Social distancing. Everyone has their own definitions of social distancing. I go to Walmart. So obviously, like, I'm willing to go out there. There are people who get their groceries ordered online and delivered. They're not. So you can accommodate them to the best of your ability. You can worry about it if you'd like. I personally choose not to worry about it. I put on the event to my level of comfort, and those who want to show up can show up. Those who don't want to show up don't have to show up. There's ways for them to participate and engage throughout the process. So our first question of planning is who? Who's planning the food drive? Who's invited? Who will your sponsors be? And who will benefit from the food drive? So personally, if you want to start with who's planning the food drive, is it just you? Do you have a team, like an administrative team? Do you have someone on your team doing it? Do you have a team of agents doing it? I'm with eXp Realty, so while we are not an official team, there might be a group of us that do it together. So you want to figure out who is going to be responsible for planning it and contributing and executing on throughout the planning phase. Who is invited to participate? Is it just for your sphere? Is it just for your community? Is it for a farm? You know, those types of things. And anytime there's a drive, it's an opportunity to just connect and give back. And it's one of those things that you could invite as many people as you want. You can invite everyone in your database. If you do online lead gen and you have 3,000 phone numbers and email addresses, then by all means, invite them all. Who will sponsor the food drive? Now, Obviously, you're a sponsor. However, if you want to do more at your food drive, so my food drive, what I was originally thinking is that I would have a location where my sponsors could come and we would offer refreshments like fall snacks and drinks, right? And they could sponsor that, and they would sponsor a door prize. For my door prize, I'm going to do gift cards, gift cards of their choosing, the winner's choosing. And so yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Well, that's what I wanted to do. I will say how I modified it later. And then, so you want to think about who do you want to sponsor, and kind of what you might want them to sponsor, and then who will benefit from it. Sure, you can pick your local food bank. I personally would like to find a food pantry that's within my farm to donate to, because we have food pantries everywhere. A lot of people automatically donate to food banks just because they can't think of anything else. So if you have a relationship with somebody, with a church, with an organization that supports the community and can benefit from food, then identify the organization, the person at the organization you need to coordinate with. You could have the food drive on site there. And you can have somebody come from there to, if you have an event, you can have them participate, bring information, and just raise awareness. If you're doing a community food drive and you wanted to do some door knocking or just dropping off flyers about the food drive in your community, maybe your sponsors can help. The what. So we're going to have 3 slides on the what. The first one is, what is the definition of success? Is your definition of a success to collect the most food? How much food you want to collect? Is it to how many people you talk to? Is it getting your people together for a cause? Is it just giving back in general? Is it to bring your neighbors together? So those are just things to think through of, like, what is it? What? The what of the situation. Second question of what is, what do you want to collect? And here are some ideas of things you can collect that aren't food during this time of year. National Prematurity Awareness Month is October. So diapers and wipes or other babies things, toiletries and socks for the homeless. And sometimes you can even go small. You can be like, we're collecting toothbrush and toothpaste. We're collecting only socks. We're collecting sensory items. We're collecting stuff for the animal shelter, domestic violence, clothes, jackets, school supplies, and stocking stuffers is something more towards like the holiday, Christmas, if that's what you so choose to do. I will say that for me, I'm thinking, I have a book about a cookbook of beans and rice recipes. So I was thinking about limiting my collection to beans and rice. And while some people may think like, oh, that's crazy that you're only going to collect 2 things. I mean, if someone else wants to bring a can of corn, that's fantastic. But as far as like the marketing and the advertising of the event, that might be what I do. Another thing you can do is, let's say you want to fill bags with the exact same thing, like backpacks or a grocery sack, and you want them all to have a can of corn, a can of green beans, stuffing, a box of cereal. You can make that list too. And that will become handy in the future slides. So what can participants expect at the event? So first of all, you have to decide, are you doing a food drive that just goes from like, oh, we're gonna, run it for 2 weeks, people can drop stuff off at the office? Well, that's what they can expect. Will they get anything in return when they get there? Will they fill out a door prize? Will they just get entered into a drawing? Will they just get a handshake and a thank you? Then we have a set event where, like, maybe it's on a Saturday from 10 to 2 where people can drop off their donations, and then they just kind of like leave and they come and go. Are you going to have like kind of an event where they drop off their donation, they can enjoy some refreshments, they can fill out a door prize. So, which is what I was thinking about, is like maybe having a time period for people to drop off. Like, you can drop off goods at this address for these 2 weeks, whatever's convenient for you, and or you can bring it to this address on this day from this time to this time and enjoy some kick off the fall season with some fall refreshments. We're going to have door prizes, mingling activities like color sheets for the kids or bingo for adults, or just anything you want to do. Some people have fall festivals, so you could do something of that nature. If you wanted to go kind of big with it, you could have like a hot dog cookout or something. So the when. For purposes of this presentation, we're planning for August 5th, 2020, which is a Tuesday. So you want to think about, the time frame. How long will it last? Is it only one day when we start advertising it? And then also, if you're not collecting food items, think about other times throughout the year when you can collect different items for special month, like National Prematurity Awareness Month or Autism Month for sensory toys. If there's an animal month, collect animal stuff. And what that does is it kind of allows you, October is the beginning of the giving season, so you're going to start competing with a lot of different drives, and which means you're competing with people's pocketbook, right? They only have so much money to go so far, so maybe you choose to do something in a different month in 2021. Then where are you going to have it? Will the food drive take place at an office, a community location like a park or a rec center, or the facility of the benefiting organization? So if you're doing the shelter, can you drop it off there? Can you have it there? When thinking about locations outside of your own office or maybe your front yard, keep in mind, everybody has their own COVID response. So talk to the organization or talk to the facility before you start making plans. If several agents are teaming up, will it take place at central locations? So if you have 4 agents that are working together and they live in 4 different cities, will it be at a central location, or will all 4 have a location in their own city? So those are things to think about. Why are you doing this? Why are you hosting a food drive? Is it broker initiated? Is it a broker initiated event? Is it something you're passionate about? Do you just want to get in front of your sphere? Do you want a reason to connect with your neighbors and or farm? Is it an easy event to put on the annual calendar? Do you want to ask for referrals? Do you want to love on people? For me personally, I love giving back, so that's an easy one. But also, our brokerage over at EXP, they have a day of giving, basically, or a day of community action, and so our state is doing a food drive, or the agents in our state are encouraged to do a food drive to have like as our activity. We can do it together, we can do it separately. It's really up to us, but that's just kind of, so there's a couple things going on. And I like events because it allows me to get connected to my sphere. It allows me to introduce myself to my neighbors, and it's an opportunity to collect referrals. All events are always an opportunity to collect referrals, in my opinion. The how will we reach our goal? How will you do your invites? Are you going to email, mail, Facebook, call, text? And next week we'll get into invitations, so we'll have more details on the different things you can do there and how you can make it work for you. This one is really for anybody who's doing social distancing, and gives you different options. So how can people participate? Obviously, they can participate in person, pick it up, drop it off. They can do monetary donations. So if you don't already know, PayPal has a feature that allows you to collect like a pool of money for free. And you don't have to worry about people clicking the button that says like sending money to someone else, like, and not charging like that processing fee. So that is a resource. And then for food delivery, everyone's doing food delivery now. You could give people the option to like send it to your house from Walmart.com or from your local grocery store or even Amazon. And so if you do like an Amazon, you could create a wish list with items on there for people to pick. So let's say I was trying to collect 100 bags of beans and 100 bags of rice. And by bags, think about like the small bags that you get in the store. So maybe it's a pound, I don't know. But then I could put on my wish list, I could pick a bag of rice and I could pick a bag of beans. And I could put that my quantity is 100, and then people can buy off of that until they've sent that much to my house. They can social distance, they can just support, but also what that feature right there, the monetary feature and the Amazon feature does, is it lets you tap in to your expanded network across the nation, which is important for me because I do a lot of referrals in other cities and states because I was just out so much at the Air Force this past year and a half that I had to find a way to stay in real estate, and that was on my ways with like tapping into my extended nationwide sphere the same way I tapped into my local sphere when I was in the area. So it's something to keep in mind and think about as you go forward. I'm sure many of you guys have had sellers that left the area that you lost touch with, but they still know people back in your market. Or maybe they know someone who wants to buy or sell that doesn't know an agent in their new market that they could connect you with, and you could set up a referral agent with. So that pretty much sums it up. And so our next steps is to collect the specific information as it relates to you on what we discussed. So you'll want to figure out what the who, what, when, where, why, and how of your food drive is going to be. You have a week. And planning this shouldn't take much time, you know. The most time you're probably going to spend is when you do like the invitation, mailing, and getting that set up and figuring out who you're going to send it to, and then if there's any calls to do. You can start executing now by connecting the organization that will be benefiting, getting connected to your sponsors and anyone who's going to help volunteer make this a success. And then start thinking about your invitations. What type of invitations are you going to do? Electronic, paper, like flyers, or I wouldn't use like formal invitations, but maybe you have a flyer for a farm, or postcards, video, and who do you want to invite? So those two things are things to start thinking about for next week. And there was 11, including myself, there was 11 agents listed here that said that they wanted to do a food drive. So I challenge all of you guys to actually like take the steps to execute on your food drive with a goal to collect at least 100 items. So that means that we would have 1,000 items collected in one day across many states. And we have a couple of non-agents, so between agents and entrepreneurs. So keep that in mind, and I hope you guys found this helpful, and that you guys, and that you guys continue on the journey to make this happen this year in 2020. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. You can call me, text me, email me, Facebook me, and I promise to get back to you. Have a good day. Bye.